In New York City, more than 40 city council members are calling to cut $1 billion from the New York Police Department's $6 billion budget. In Los Angeles, Mayor Eric Garcetti has already announced a $100 million cut to the LAPD's proposed budget for next year after activists protested outside of his house. Let's bring in Pennsylvania Congressman Guy Reschenthaler to discuss this. Guy, obviously, there is a lot going on. There are a lot of different actors here when it comes to the wake of George Floyd's death. And nobody is saying that what happened in that specific instant was in any way, shape, or form acceptable, and the consequences have to be sought for that. But having said that, do you throw the baby out with the bathwater and say, let's defund the police?
Well, Jackie, first off, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. But no, defunding the police is the exact opposite of what we should be doing. We should be increasing police funding, and here's why. We need to make sure that they have money to train properly. We also need to make sure they have money to have mental health care, right? Police are more likely to die by suicide than in the line of duty. That's sad. So they need money for mental health care, suicide prevention, PTSD treatment, and of course, more training to make sure that the death that occurred never happens again. And that's how we really would honor George Floyd's memory, through that. Defunding the police is reckless, it's dangerous, and frankly, I can't believe how far left the Democrat Party has moved, that they're not only talking about doing this, but like you said, in LA and New York, they've taken steps to do just that. And the sad irony, Jackie, is that this is going to hurt the communities, because when you don't have police policing these communities, crime rates are going to skyrocket and really hurt these communities.
Acting Deputy Secretary of Homeland Security Ken Cuccinelli was on with Liz last night. He addressed this very issue. I want you to listen.
You're not protesting when you're being violent, you're being a criminal. And the first job of government is public safety, whether it's local, state, or federal. And President Trump has been very strong in declaring he's going to fulfill his first obligation. And these people calling to essentially unilaterally disarm against mobs and domestic terrorists is completely unacceptable and not something that we at the Department of Homeland Security will sit back for.
I mean, he is echoing comments that President Trump has made, talking about securing our cities right now that are dealing with violence, with rioting, with looting. Since when has securing the city and making sure that citizens are safe, when has that become a crime?
Well, it has become a crime in the minds of far-left Democrats that are trying to appease their far-left radical base. But President Trump deserves a lot of credit. He's the one that said that we may send in the troops, we might take drastic actions, and he didn't do it. But just the fact that he stood for law and order really caused these riots and the protests, the violent protests, to subside. So he deserves credit. The Democrat mayors, the Democrat governors were absolutely feckless. They had curfews treating their citizens like they were in middle school. And at the same time, they didn't enforce the curfews on the protesters. And I want to say the violent protesters, those from Antifa, the anarchists who are actually getting violent.
Right,
and
the
so
folks that are coming out at night
get destructed.
Not
yes,
the peaceful protesters that are making a statement about social justice right now.
Yes, Jackie, there's three different things going on here. You have the peaceful protesters. They deserve our compassion, our empathy, and they have the right to protest. We get that. But unfortunately, you have these outside groups, Antifa, the anarchists, they're coming in and they're getting violent. And then you have another group that are the looters that are taking advantage of the situation and the chaos to steal personal property, to engage in vandalism, etc. What's so sad is that the rioters, those engaged in looting, are drowning out the message of the peaceful protesters who want justice for George Floyd. So that's so sad going on right now. But we cannot have this lawlessness going on. We cannot have this anarchy going on. We've got to be a country of laws.
You bring up a great point, and I only have about 30 seconds for this, but you've got a lot of people in office as well, in California, in New York, saying we're not going to take campaign donations from police officers or from anybody associated with the police anymore. They're taking a stand so that people know, where they stand on this issue. Your thoughts on that?
It's a complete slap in the face to policemen and policewomen. These officers risk their lives every single day they're on the job. They sign up for these jobs because they want to make their community safe, and to turn around and snub them like this is insulting. They should be held in high regard because the vast majority of them are only doing what they're doing to help the communities and promote safety.
Congressman, great to see you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jackie.
We'll talk to you soon.